Welcome into NFL Daily by Chat Sports. Chase Senior here with you. Hope all of you out there are having a fantastic weekend. We have a great show on tap for you today. All these teams about to embark on training camp across the National Football League. So with that, I have burning questions for every team in the NFL. We're going to talk about that on the program today. But first, I can't wait for the actual NFL season. I cover this game for a living, and this is the most excited that I've ever been for an NFL season. So many great storylines. So if you're with me and you're excited for football to return, make sure you hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. Let's begin here with the Arizona Cardinals. We're going to go alphabetical order because it's the easiest way to do that. Burning question with the Cardinals. What's the health status of Kyler Murray coming off that torn ACL? Also with Kyler, is he a franchise quarterback? And is Jonathan Gannon, who takes over for Cliff Kingsbury, defensive mind, Kingsbury an offensive mind, a legit coach? Because I thought in Super Bowl 57, when he was the defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, he kind of got exposed. Now to the Atlanta Falcons. It is the Desmond Ritter show now after Marcus Mariota flaked on the team last year. If Ritter is bad, the Falcons will be looking for a quarterback in 2024. And if they find out early in the season that Ritter is not it, they might tank the season. Caleb Williams, Drake May show. Baltimore Ravens. Can Lamar Jackson finally stay healthy? The last 2 Decembers, he's been out. And if so, he finally has a good complementary cast around him. Odell Beckham Jr., Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers. That's a pretty intriguing 1-2-3 punch for Lamar Jackson. Mark Andrews, of course, one of the best running backs, or tight ends, in the NFL. But speaking of running backs, they did sign Melvin Gordon, and J.K. Dobbins expected to be healthy for training camp. Now let's go to the Carolina Panthers. Love the selection. Buffalo Bills, Can the Bills finally get over the hump? They need to help out Josh Allen with the running game. They've been too one-dimensional as an offense under Josh Allen, relying on him for the splash play and to air it out. Help him out, run the football. Offensive line has been a little bit of a concern. Can they do that this year? Because a more balanced Buffalo Bills team is a better team. Now to the Carolina Panthers. How soon will Bryce Young start? My take, I think the Carolina Panthers with that new coaching staff are a bit underrated. Really solid offensive weapons on that side of the ball. I think the addition of Miles Sanders is an underrated one. You're only paying him about $6 million per year. I like what they have at the wide receiver position, even though they traded away DJ Moore. I think that DJ Chark can have a pretty solid season. I love the selection of Bryce Young, pro-ready, and I think that it would be idiotic to not start him in week 1. With the Chicago Bears, is Justin Fields good? That's question number 1. And can he take a Jalen Hurts-like leap as a passer? He ran for more than 1,000 yards last year. The athleticism is breathtaking, but he misses far too many layups, and he's way too inconsistent. Now with him having DJ Moore and a better surrounding cast, I like Cole Kmet at that wide receiver, or at that tight end spot, but with Darnell Mooney at wide receiver as well, better slotted as a wide receiver too. Can Justin Fields take that next leap? Cincinnati Bengals. Can the offensive line hold up for Joe Burrow? It's that's in the way for Cincinnati, as well as the Kansas City Chiefs. If the offensive line is able to check out and hold up in pass protection, Cincinnati could represent the AFC in Super Bowl 58. Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson, not good at all last year. I understand that he sat out all of 2021, then he sat out to start last year. He was extremely rusty. Can he knock off that rust and get back to that 2024 in which he was the top 5 quarterback in this league? If he does that, that's a very good Browns roster. If the Browns flounder, Kevin Stefanski, he gone. Dallas Cowboys. It seems as though we have the same question every single year. It's the same question year in, year out. How about them Cowboys? How about they do something when it counts? Cowboy fans, you're going to be salty with me, but that's 28 years you haven't made it to an NFC championship game. Can Dak Prescott finally do it? If he doesn't, I think his days in Dallas might be numbered. Denver Broncos with the Sean Payton hiring. Love the hiring. Love him as a head coach. Super Bowl championship under his belt. He's sneakily kind of come up short in a lot of playoff games. Some of that has been misfortune and bad luck. He's a good coach and an affirmative personality for Russell Wilson. Can he get him back on track? If that's the case, the Broncos could surprise a lot of people and be one of those teams that was awful last year and a quality unit this year. Detroit Lions, I'm high on this roster. I like what Dan Campbell has been able to do. I like what the front office has been able to build. 8-2 in their last 10 games last year. It's the most exciting season since when for Detroit? This is the best roster that they've had in a while. In that 10-game stretch to end the campaign a year ago, Jared Goff was really good. Can they put it all together and finally not be what we've all become accustomed to knowing as the choking Detroit Lions? Make sure you subscribe to us here on Chat Sports because our NFL coverage is about to ramp back up, and you don't want to miss anything that we do here at Chat Sports. Keep it locked here on the channel for the best NFL content on YouTube. Green Bay Packers now. Who is Jordan Love as a quarterback? We've barely been able to see him. I think it's hilarious how him replacing Aaron Rodgers at the end of that Philadelphia Eagles game in prime time made a couple of good throws, looked comfortable in garbage time. People are like, yeah, guy's going to be really good. We haven't heard a peep from this organization. We've heard players hyping him up. I want to see who Jordan Love can be as a quarterback. Big shoes to fill for Aaron Rodgers. Houston Texans. How good can C.J. Stroud be? I'm excited to also see what Will Anderson can do as a rookie. The number of drives ending in a punt or turnover in 2022, Houston, 127 of them. Among 32 teams in the NFL, they rank dead last. DeMeco Ryans, though, a fan that I advocated for, given the familiarity and what he did for that San Francisco 49ers defense in 2 years as DC. Indianapolis Colts. How quickly will Indy, with Shane Steichen, who helped develop Justin Herbert, as well as Jalen Hurts, pivot to Anthony Richardson? Gardner Minshew was signed to be the veteran presence in that quarterback room. Anthony Richardson, stupid athlete, bionic arm. What he's able to do with his frame, it's really magical. But he only threw 17 touchdowns last year and threw a lot of picks. Lack of production concerns me, but with him teaming up with Shane Steichen, can he end up being a quality quarterback in this league? And if that's the case, how soon? Jacksonville Jaguars. Let me pose this question. And it's not often that we're talking about the Detroit Lions as players in the NFC and the Jags as players in the AFC. But Doug Peterson's a fantastic head coach. Trevor Lawrence is a top 10 quarterback in this league. Tyler Jones, co-worker, for him to have Kyler Murray in his quarterback rankings ahead of Trevor Lawrence, it's a crime. I thought about calling the Dallas police and having him arrested. But are the Jags legitimate contenders in the AFC? Very good roster. Comeback win against the Chargers gave them playoff experience and a playoff victory. They were feisty against the Kansas City Chiefs. Can they back it up with those expectations and string together a second consecutive quality year? They were red hot after the midway point last year. Speaking of those Kansas City Chiefs, Kansas City, not much to worry about with the defending Super Bowl champions. The quarterback documentary has given you an inside peek of what makes Patrick Mahomes tick. Special dude, special player, special mindset. When you have Andy Reid, the best offensive coach in the league and maybe one of the best offensive minds of all time, if not the best, and Patrick Mahomes, you're in a good spot with Kansas City. It's all about staying healthy. Everybody thought that offense was going to be bad last year or at least lack explosion without Tyreek Hill. They were fine. Las Vegas Raiders. Can the Josh McDaniels, Jimmy Garoppolo relationship lead to steady quarterback play and wins? They haven't had consistent, steady quarterback play. They haven't put together a lot of wins. They have not won a playoff game since the early 2000s. And 2 playoff appearances since the early 2000s? Since that game against the New England Patriots in the snow. So Josh McDaniels has the familiarity with Jimmy Garoppolo. It's a pretty solid offense. Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow. You have Max Crosby on the defensive side of the ball. They need steady quarterback play and wins for McDaniel's job to be safe. Los Angeles Chargers. Throughout my lifetime, they've had a lot of talented teams. They've either started slow and finished fast, or they've been good from start to finish, but then they never come up big in the playoffs. The last several years, though, they have not put together a strong season from start to finish. Can they do that in a tough AFC West? Los Angeles Rams, some chatter about them maybe shopping Aaron Donald. They're not happy with Matthew Stafford and his unwillingness to restructure his contract. Are they going to take for Caleb Williams? They might trade those two vets. They traded away Jalen Ramsey, let go of Bobby Wagner. Are they taking for Caleb Williams to have him stay in that LA area to pair him up with Sean McVay? Look out for that. Miami Dolphins, this is really what it comes down to. Can Tua Tagovailoa stay healthy? If he can, the Dolphins can be a threat in the AFC East against the Buffalo Bills, New England Patriots, other teams in that division, as well as in the AFC as a whole. With the Minnesota Vikings here, my thoughts and my perception of Kirk Cousins has completely changed after the quarterback documentary. I know that he's come up short in some monster games, right? Dude is tough as nails, cares about his craft, does everything to maximize himself as a football player, kind of like his personality. A concerning trend. They were a ridiculous 11-0 in one-score games last year. That is not sustainable. Oftentimes, that doesn't carry over a year. What happens in 2023 in some of those close games? New England Patriots, all eyes on Mac Jones. And can Bill O'Brien get him back on track? Last year, really without an offensive coordinator, and with Matt Patricia kind of being the de facto offensive coordinator, what the hell was Bill Belichick thinking? Now you have a proven commodity and mind in Bill O'Brien. Does that help alleviate some pressure off Mac Jones and help him play a little bit better? New Orleans Saints. The Saints made a splash with Derek Carr, no doubt about it. And last year, their quarterback issues certainly were a problem. The division is wide open. It's not a great division with a clear winner. Atlanta Falcons, Carolina Panthers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Can Carr help lead the way for New Orleans in the Big Easy? If you want some NFL jerseys, you can find them now. They're on sale, limited time only for just $99.99 heading into the 2023 season. Chase, how do I get that deal? All you have to do, use that link down below, chatsports.com/jersey deal. There are jerseys available for every team and several players, multiple players across the National Football League. We're filtering through just some of the options here. Get those jerseys. We'll put that link in the comment section and in the description of this video. It is chatsports.com/jersey deal. New York Giants now. Will Daniel Jones make another leap in year two in Brian Daboll's system? And what happens with Saquon Barkley? They relied on him, and he was responsible for such a large percentage of the Giants' offensive production. If he holds out, if he's unhappy, if he doesn't play the same, that will impact New York. Saquon Barkley had like 2 less touchdowns than Daniel Jones last year. A little bit of an issue. New York Jets, Jets, Jets. Maybe the most anticipated season since what? Mark Sanchez led that first trip to the AFC Championship game, and then he made it to a second one. Will Aaron Rodgers return back to the back-to-back MVP form of when he won it in 2020 and 2021? Looking a little bit slim heading into training camp. The New York Jets do expect him to play in 2024 as well, but a lot of that is predicated on how Aaron Rodgers plays this year. To the Philadelphia Eagles now. Can the Eagles avoid a Super Bowl hangover? You lose that Super Bowl, especially in heartbreaking fashion, like the Eagles did. It's hard to start the next season on a hot note. The Eagles are going to have to do that because the early portion of their schedule throughout the first 6 weeks, a lot of winnable games. The middle portion, when they're playing teams like Buffalo, Kansas City, San Francisco, on the road against Seattle, it's very difficult. They can't afford to start slow and then make up ground over time just because of how difficult that schedule is. Another key note here, they were one of the healthiest teams in the NFL last year. Can they be healthy again, or will they get hit with injury attrition? Pittsburgh Steelers, Kenny Pickett finished the season strong, and is he the guy in the Steel City? Look at the analytics, you look at the numbers, the eye test. Kenny Pickett did some really impressive things down the stretch for Pittsburgh. Good defense, solid complementary core around him as well, both at wide receiver, tight end, and at running back. You have a really good coach in Mike Tomlin. If he's the guy, Pittsburgh could win that division in the AFC North. San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco. Big question, who's going to be the quarterback? one of the only questions on what is a loaded roster for a team that's made it to 3 NFC championship games over the last 4 years. Now the Seattle Seahawks. Will Geno Smith come back to earth after a career year last year, or will he continue his ascent? I'll tell you what, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Zach Charbonnet being drafted, Kenneth Walker already in that backfield. That's a really good team, and we know that oftentimes they've had a feisty defense, even though prior to last year, they were pretty bad for a multiple-year stretch. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask competing for quarterback. Yikes. Are the Bucs mailing it in and trying to get in on that Caleb Williams, Drake May sweepstakes? Tennessee Titans, what happens at quarterback with them? Is Ryan Tannehill really the guy, or will the Titans go with Will Levis? Under Mike Vrabel, they are oftentimes very competitive. You know that defense is going to bring it with that physicality and a multiple scheme. And them signing DeAndre Hopkins tells me that organization thinks that they can win this year. Which quarterback is going to lead them to those wins if they believe that that quarterback is going to be able to keep them competitive? Lastly, Washington Commanders. So long, fraudulent Dan Snyder. So long. I hated their offseason. They're moving forward with Sam Howell at quarterback. That surprises me a little bit. Jacoby Brissett as their backup. I do like their defensive line. Their offensive line is bad. I think their receiving core is a little bit underrated. But Sam Howell, now's your time, homie. Let's see what you can do in a very, very loaded division. So which team that didn't make the playoffs last year makes the playoffs in 2023? My final question for everybody out there. Let us know what you think of today's show. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.